Hello, everybody. Welcome to 2026 and welcome to the CC Report. It's been a long time coming. I've waited a while to be able to bring this to you, but now we're flipping the calendar over. We're flipping it away from 2025, which was a year that was not great for Caitlin Clark and for her fan base, but we're flipping it over into 2026, which is poised to be the best year yet, both for Caitlin and for her fan base. So let's talk about it. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are turning the page on the calendar into 2026 and leaving 2025 behind. And that certainly is something that Caitlin would like to do. You saw her Instagram post yesterday. 2025, you were a year. I personally would say one of the years of all time, really, for Caitlin. An injury-ravaged season, a lot of promise that was unfulfilled, mostly due to those injuries. She underwent a significant slump while she was playing in those 13 games because she wasn't fully healthy. Just in all, a season to throw away and to really leave in the rearview mirror and not look back upon. But that is exactly what she's doing in 2026. She's poised to have one of the best years that she's had so far. Even though 2024 set a huge mark for her, she's ready to equal that mark or even perhaps surpass that mark in three areas. The first area being Nike and her marketing ad campaign, which she's detailed to us over the past couple of days. The second being in USA Basketball, really starting down the road for USA Basketball and kind of seeing how that is all going to come together. And then third, and most importantly, with the Indiana Fever, we're seeing her and the Fever poised to make a run at a title, even though they had a great year last year, even with the injuries ravaging the team. So let's first talk a little bit about Nike. This whole marketing campaign started in August of last year with the reveal of her logo. And we all saw the logo together. I've written about it extensively on Twitter. I think the logo is elegant. I think the logo is nuanced and layered. I also think it's going to prove to be the most important logo that Nike has released since they released the Jordan logo back in the 90s. This is just super, super important because it's going to be featured on so much merchandise, because it's going to be featured on Caitlin's signature shoe, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. But most importantly, I think that this is the reason that it took so long for the logo to come out and for the shoes to come out, is because they knew that it was going to be so important that they had to get it right. So in August of last year, we saw the logo, we got some merchandise, so we got a t-shirt featuring the logo, and we started seeing it here and there. Now they're stepping it up a little bit. They're stepping up the marketing going into the new year. We already saw Caitlin's From Anywhere commercial, which was playing right here. You see you saw that released on Christmas Day. It's a high level of visibility. All of the NBA games featured this commercial, and it's kind of just made its rounds on the internet, all that sort of thing. And going into the new year, we saw Caitlin featured on the New Heights podcast with Travis and Jason Kelsey. She's talking about her shoe and how innovative and how important the shoe was going to be. All of this kind of conglomerates into the idea that this is going to be a big one. And we all in the CCFC knew that it was going to be a big one from the very start. But for the average casual person out there who's just a casual basketball fan or a casual sneaker fan, this may not be so obvious that this shoe release is not going to be like any of the other shoe releases. We're talking about a shoe release that is going to do in the $100 million range, $150 million range, easily just on the shoe's first release. So we've got that part of it. And as you can see here, Caitlin talking about just how much technology is going to be present in the shoe. She's talking about a shoe that's not just stylistically good, but also is functional on the court. She herself she disclosed is going to be wearing these shoes all throughout next season. We know that Lexi Hull is going to be wearing the shoes all throughout next season. We assume that her other teammates that are not under other contracts and other Nike athletes that are not under other contracts or obligations, they're going to be wearing the shoe as well. So not only does it have to look good, but it has to actually be functional. And because of the technology that Caitlin is putting into the shoe, that's what's taken so long for her to get the shoe exactly correct. Now that it's there, we can assume that it's going to be ready for the league launch in late April, early May, and we can assume that the shoe is going to be in a situation where it suddenly becomes everywhere. You know, she's talked about a lot of different colorways that she's going to introduce. She talked yesterday on the New Heights podcast about a Chiefs colorway, which, you know, that makes sense. I would be shocked if there wasn't some sort of Iowa colorway or collaboration as well for the CC1s. You know, just all sorts of different colors and combinations. I'm sure that probably, you know, when Paige puts the shoe on, it's probably going to be a Dallas Wing themed color for her, a custom job for her, that sort of thing. Anyway, it's going to be a massive, massive deal. And just from a marketing standpoint alone, Caitlin is poised to absolutely dominate the market in 2026 in a way that she hasn't even done so before, even though she was dominant in 2024 and to a lesser degree in 2025. They've really been saving up their guns for 2026. Talking then about USA Basketball, we know that Caitlin has arrived in USA Basketball for the first USA Basketball training camp. This is a huge step for Caitlin, not only because it was the first time that we've seen her do basketball-related activity since her injury, but also it's the first time that we saw Caitlin be present for USA Basketball activity, period, since her snubbing from the 2024 Olympic team. Now, I'm on record, as many of you are, as saying that this is probably one of the biggest snub jobs in the history of college basketball, or in the history of USA Basketball, rather. We've seen the leadership of USA Basketball completely change over since the 2024 Olympic Games, not least because of their decision to snub Caitlin from the USA Basketball team. So anyway, we've got full participation from Caitlin in the December 2025 training camp. That's marking her return to competitive action. And in this, she confirmed that she is 100% back from injury. Now, we all know that she has to kind of knock the rust off a little bit. She talked in the New Heights podcast yesterday about how it was just being thrown into the deep end against the best basketball players in the world, but she wouldn't have it any other way. Reports coming out of the training camp were that she looked good. She looked a little rusty, but she looked like Caitlin, which is what we wanted to know, what we wanted to see from her, and what we didn't see even when Caitlin was playing last season in the WNBA, because she wasn't fully 100% healthy. Now she is. Now she can get that rust knocked off, and now she can be ready for the USA Basketball season upcoming, and also for the Fever season. We're talking about in a timeline where Caitlin is going to need to be ready for the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup. She talked on the New Heights podcast yesterday about that they're going to suspend the WNBA season for the September FIBA Women's World Cup. Caitlin likely will be a participant in that World Cup. So that's super, super important. That's super important that she's ready for that. We're probably going to see her at a few more training camps before that World Cup. And then obviously we'll see her in the WNBA regular season. But this September 2026 in Berlin. We assume that Caitlin is going to be participating in that. That's going to be her international debut, and it's going to be a big one and a big step, because remember, the reason that she was snubbed from the 2024 World Team ostensibly was that she had not participated in any USA basketball activities prior to the Olympics. So the idea that she's going through the hoops, she's jumping through all the hoops that she needs to jump through in order to make that 2028 team, super, super important, and she's going to be doing so, starting right now. So we've got Caitlin, who is ready to represent herself and represent the country on the international stage. And this is just a little shot from the New Heights podcast yesterday, her talking about how she's not going to get the number 22. Unfortunately, the numbering system of the USA basketball doesn't go up to 22. It only goes up through 17. So, or it only goes up through a certain number, not 22. So she's going to be wearing number 17 in the USA basketball, but that's okay. We can all order number 17 jerseys. It's not that big of a deal. Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about what we can expect from the Fever season. And the Fever season, we've already the Fever has spent a long time over the course of the new year talking about just the moments from last year and remembering team unity and the moments that allowed us to fall in love with the Fever team. And I mean, we don't need to be reminded of all of these. These are all, moments that are burned into our brains. But what it means going forward into 2026 is that it gives the Fever a unique advantage. We've already been through the gauntlet. We've already been through the war with this team. And so for the people that are returning, there's no concerns about chemistry. There's no concerns about whether they're going to be a good fit or not. There's no concern about are they going to know the offense? Every player that we bring back is going to be a player that is well steeped and well versed into what Stephanie White and the Fever team want to do. And so moving forward, they're going to understand the offense, they're going to understand each other, and they're going to be able to work together. We saw that this gave teams that had that advantage a huge and meaningful advantage, especially at the beginning of the season. Last season, we saw that with the Liberty, we saw that with the Lynx. Now we are going to be the ones that enjoy that advantage, because this offseason is going to be insane in free agency with a lot of players changing teams, and that chemistry is going to take some time to get together and to work together. We're not going to have any of those problems because we are going to be returning a lot of the same players. And talking about that chemistry and talking about that free agency, this is just another like a little meme that Correlation shared. That is the missing part of the puzzle. That is the missing thing that disallowed the Fever last year from reaching their true potential, and that is that they were missing their catalyst. They were missing the person that brought it all together. They were missing Caitlin Clark. It is a testament to the 2025 Fever that they were able to put together such an amazing season without the straw that stirs the drink. The entire team was put together to cater to the strengths of Caitlin Clark. And when she was missing and when she wasn't able to be on the team, that it made the concoction not work. And the fact that they were able to change what they did and mold themselves around the other strengths that they didn't necessarily think that they were going to have to lean upon, is a testament to the flexibility of the players and the coaching staff. However, now we're going to have Caitlin back. And when we have Caitlin back with her unique skill set that only she brings to the table, it's going to be able, and we add in all of the chemistry factors that I just talked about, we're going to have a team that is ready from the jump to not only to win, but to dominate their competition. So that's going to be extremely important. And, just in terms of free agency, I'm on record as this, I already talked a little bit about how this free agency period, there's going to be a lot of changeover. There's going to be a lot of players that change teams. I don't think the Fever fall into that category. I think that last year, everybody is on record that participated in the 2025 season as saying it was one of the closest knit, most important groups that they've ever played for. So I don't see any player wanting to walk away from that. I think that it's just up to the team to decide who to let back in or who to re-sign and bring back in to the fold. And I think that for most of the major players, Lexi Hull, Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard, Ari McDonald, if she's available and if she's able to, that's the only one that I kind of am a little bit iffy on, just because she's earned a lot more money than we're going to be able to pay her probably. But for the rest of them, I see a lot of them returning, and that giving us a great advantage. So in terms of free agency, I don't think that it's going to be as much changeover as there is for some other teams. I think that's going to give us a big advantage. And again, the biggest acquisition that the 2026 Fever are going to have over the 2025 edition is the re-addition of Caitlin Clark and the re-addition to that unique catalyst, that unique straw that is able to stir the drink. So that's what we're talking about here in terms of 2026. And, you know, Caitlin's just talking a lot about on the New Heights podcast just how much she personally is looking forward to 2026. That I think is going to be a huge thing, not just for her, but for all of us, because 2025 was difficult. Not only for her, obviously, mostly for her, she's the one that's had to live through this, but for us in the fan base who had to watch her live through this. Just extremely difficult times. This is the most adversity probably that she's ever had to face, and she faced it with courage. She faced it with aplomb. She faced it very well. However, now that the season from hell is over, now we can all look forward to 2026, and I know that Caitlin is looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to it too. So this has been the first edition of the CC Report, just a little overview of what we can look forward to from the 2026 season. I hope that you and yours have an excellent and a wonderful new year. Please, if you liked the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and make sure to go over to Twitter and hit subscribe over there. You can follow me at CC22Report, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. We'll see you later.